So it is finally here, the trailer for Gotham Knights, which we had been calling Batman Gotham Knights and before that Batman Arkham Legacy, but we finally know that this game is just called Gotham Knights, which is a bold idea to just drop the Batman from it, especially because Batman has not always just been one character. It has been a brand and an icon, and we even see that in the comics when Bruce Wayne goes away and Dick Grayson takes over as Batman. It doesn't just become the Dick Grayson comic, it is still called Batman. Batman is a mantle and a legacy passed down, and they've decided to drop that title for the game and focus on the Bat family itself. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to address like a ton of the things about this in terms of a lot of people are already upset saying it's not a Batman game. The only thing I have to say about that is, like I said, it's never just been one character. Really, for pretty much forever since Robin was introduced, the Bat family has been an idea and one of the core concepts. And it looks like this is just taking that and bringing the Bat family out of Batman's shadow for once into the limelight in video games. It's not something we got to see a lot of in the Arkham series because the inclusion of those characters was mainly just DLC or little tiny tidbits. So it is really nice to see that in a game, in my opinion, so that we can actually play as these characters instead of just having, a Batman Arkham Knight exact copy with a little bit of a different story or something like that. I am definitely down for this, but I do want to actually take a look at everything we know because this trailer opens with a message from Batman, Bruce Wayne, saying that he is dead and initiating Code Black. So it looks like this is a bit of an older Batman, not in terms of Dark Knight Returns old, but he looks like he's probably in his late 30s or around 40. There's no way to actually know that, and especially because we don't know the details of this timeline yet. But if we look at the fact that Jason Todd is actually already Red Hood, we look at the fact that Dick Grayson is Nightwing, Barbara Gordon appears to have gone through her trauma with the wheelchair and come out of it in terms of having, become Oracle and now Batgirl again from some things we see. This appears to be an older Batman just in terms of the timeline and his look. We also know that the Batcave has been destroyed. Like I said, Barbara is shown standing with her wheelchair actually next to her. So it does imply here that she has regained her ability to walk, like in the New 52 comics, because I highly doubt that she just kept a commemorative wheelchair around for no reason that she never needed to use, but I digress. We do know that GCPD no longer trusts the Bat family, and that Jim Gordon was at some point at the very least declared dead, gone. Now, there is a large map shown which does lead me and many others to believe that this is going to be an open world. However, there is no full confirmation of that yet. What it appears to me to be is a open world with linear segments inside buildings, just like we had in the Arkham games in those terms of scope. However, again, we don't have the full details yet on that. We do know that the characters appear to have different movesets focusing on their unique talents because it's actually the Bat family, not Batman. The Bat family often is a lot of different segmented focuses from elements of Batman. We do see 4 playable characters, which are obviously Batgirl, who appears to be Barbara Gordon's Batgirl. We do see Dick Grayson's Nightwing. We see Damian Wayne's Robin. And we also see Jason Todd's Red Hood. Red Hood appears to not be using actual full-on lethal guns in his gameplay, but rather guns that basically just stun an opponent. That's what it appears to be, that he's not actually out here killing people, which also does line up with sort of the New 52 allegiance that he formed with Batman. It seems like there's a lot of New 52 inspirations here. The gameplay shown here is pre-alpha. That is actually stressed in the gameplay demo or gameplay trailer. So while that was their decision to show pre-alpha footage, I do think that some of the judgments on the game as far as like, it looks really rough or, oh man, this is going to be terrible, I think some of those things are a little early, I mean, we're looking at pre-alpha footage. It's a little hard to actually tell. And honestly, I have friends who work in the games industry, and if you saw what some of these games look like 6 months or even a year or 2 years before they're released, trust me, they look pretty rough before they actually get into their final beta and actually are then, finalized into a final build, which then will be updated later on through consumer updates through PlayStation, Xbox, PC, etc. These games look pretty rough when they're not done. So to me, this is already looking mostly complete, which is a pretty big thing to say for it being pre-alpha footage. I mean, that's already saying something. We also do see a lot of gameplay specifically showing off different elements of characters' moves and what they have access to. For example, Batgirl, we see her riding her bat bike actually, and it's actually stated that this is a dozen hours or so into her character progression. So we do know that there's character progression for every single character and sort of the ability to pick and choose who you're playing as depending on what you're doing. So we do know also because of that there are some RPG elements to it, which we will get to. This segment also takes place during Mr. Freeze's storyline. That is specifically stated, which to me implies that there are many other storylines that you can take part in. I don't know how many, and those are not stated as well, but it's worth noting that that was the specific choice of verbiage for this. Also, the entire game can be played single player or co-op. That's actually stated very explicitly in the gameplay that it was shown off in DC Fandome and also online now on YouTube, which I will link below. And we do know as well that these characters, they do have a range of different movements. For example, Robin can actually access the Justice League satellite for short-range teleportation, which we see him do in the actual gameplay. One thing worth noting there that a lot of people glossed over is this means the Justice League exists in this continuity. The Justice League satellite. A lot of people just sort of skim past that and they were like, but it's not Batman. And that's the thing is there's a lot of little details in here that I think are worth picking up that people are kind of missing. By the way, this also does tie into the rumors that this could be connected to the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game from Rocksteady, although to the best of my knowledge, that is yet to be fully confirmed. There also are cosmetics shown off because we do see Robin in a different outfit in one moment of the gameplay where he's actually inside of a building versus when he's first introduced. And the Belfry is a very important area in this game. It appears to be a hub of sorts. They mentioned that as well in the interview that they showed at DC Fandome for the panel, along with the gameplay trailer itself. Another important thing to mention is that the mystery in Gotham Knights is way bigger than just the Court of Owls. Again, a quote from the actual DC Fandome panel. What does that mean? We don't fully know yet. However, without ruining this game's story, because I know nothing more than you guys know at all, beyond just the trailer and that this was a thing that was being worked on, I do kind of think that part of the mystery to this will be that Bruce Wayne, Batman, is not dead and sort of figuring out what happened to him. Whether that means he's trapped in the maze for the Court of Owls like we see in movies like Batman vs. Robin or in Scott Snyder's original graphic novel, which we do also, we did have a lot of sort of inclinations that he was involved in this from things he had previously tweeted. So whether he is there or maybe perhaps he is brainwashed into becoming the Talon or something like that, we don't know. But my assumption is that the mystery in Gotham also does actually involve what happened to Batman, where he is, and finding that out by the end of the game. Finally, we did have confirmation that this is coming in 2021. When? We don't have the exact date yet. That will likely be revealed soon. I understand a lot of people are impatient for this game. I understand a lot of people want it to be just a Batman thing. But to sort of close it off with my thoughts here on this, I do think that I would rather this game come out when it's done. I've seen a lot of different companies pushing to have their games done, especially for this year, for holiday, which don't look done yet. And I think that's a bad idea. So I'm glad that this game is not going that same route. I would much rather have this be the direction for it. And also in terms of it not being a Batman-centered game, the story does very much seem centered around the Batman mythos, his villains, his family, and sort of what happened to him as well. I am very excited for this. I don't think that just because it's not only Batman that is some kind of problem. I understand that some people will not be happy with that or with the RPG elements, such as it looks like enemies actually have levels to them. But here's the thing. As somebody who played Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight, and then we also have, Arkham Blackgate as well out there, we've gotten a pretty big handful of Arkham games that focus either entirely exclusively on Batman or almost exclusively on him. Personally, I'm happy to see something new. I'm happy to see a new direction for the Batman franchise. This is not the last Batman game. Like, the fact that they decided to do something different and focus on the family, to me, is not at all a letdown. In fact, in a way, like, without being super cringe, I actually had a little bit of a tear up moment when I got to see that you could take control of and play as some of my favorite characters like Batgirl and Red Hood primarily in this game instead of them just kind of being there. I think that's really incredible. It's something the comic books have been able to do now for years, is include the Bat family under Batman, but also separate them out into their own characters. And it's really fantastic to me to see WB Games actually trying to do that for themselves in the gaming world. I just hope people give it a chance. I think it's very silly, the amount of criticism that's been levied against this so far. I understand there's certain things that people are not going to be happy with, but at the end of the day, that's how it's always been. People will always complain, and fair enough, not everything's for everybody. So hey, let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think about the direction of this game? What are your thoughts, opinions, feelings? I definitely would like to hear that. Be sure to like the video if you liked what I had to say, I don't know, or this breakdown. Dislike it if you dislike it. As always, I appreciate the engagement either way. Please get me in recommended. I appreciate you. And hey, be sure to let me know what you think. Check out the Let's Play channel in the description down below. Follow me on Twitter for more hot takes that piss people off, or Instagram, or anywhere else, or help me out on Patreon. I appreciate you. I'll see you later. And as always, no matter who you are, stay shui.